We did just learn that legendary actor and director Robert Redford has passed away. He was 89 years old.
Robert Redford's funeral was not just a farewell, it was a gathering of family, friends, and admirers from around the world who came together to honor a man whose presence had left a lasting mark on generations. The day was heavy with sorrow, yet filled with deep respect. But what moved everyone most was not the ceremony itself, but the heartfelt tribute delivered by his wife, Sibylle. Her words were deeply personal, spoken with the kind of grace and sincerity that silenced the entire room. She wasn't simply saying goodbye to a Hollywood icon, she was speaking as a wife who had lost her partner, her confidant, and her best friend. When Sibylle stepped forward, the church grew still. Her voice carried both strength and ache, the kind of tone only grief can bring. She didn't speak about Robert Redford as the world knew him, the Oscar-winning actor, the director, or the founder of Sundance. Instead, she spoke of the man she knew at home. She painted a picture of his quiet habits, his love of calm mornings, his tendency to pause and admire the light through the trees, his respect for nature, and the playful humor that surprised those who thought he was always serious. She told the mourners that Robert had an extraordinary gift for listening, really listening, in a world too eager to speak. To her, that was one of his greatest legacies, because it made people feel truly seen and understood. Sibylle also recalled Robert's strength in his later years. Though his body grew weaker, his spirit never did. He remained curious, hopeful, and endlessly creative, always asking questions and imagining new possibilities. She shared one of his sayings that life is not about how long we live, but how deeply we live it. With tears in her eyes, she told the audience that he had lived deeply indeed, through his art, his activism, his friendships, and most of all, through the love he gave his family. Her tribute was more than memory. It was gratitude. She thanked him for sharing his life with her, for the journeys they took together, for the evenings spent watching the sun disappear beyond the horizon in silence. To her, those simple moments carried more meaning than any applause or spotlight. At one point, her voice broke and she pressed her hand to her heart, reminding everyone that while the world had lost an icon, she had lost her husband. Yet, even in her grief, she found comfort in knowing that his spirit lived on, in the films he created, in the causes he championed, and in the lives he touched. For those who knew him only on the screen, her words revealed a man of depth, humility, and warmth. For those who knew him personally, her speech reflected their own memories, the countless small ways Robert Redford had shaped their lives. When she finished, Sibylle placed her hand gently on his casket and whispered, "Thank you, my love." The room filled with soft sobs and quiet applause, not for a performance, but for a life so fully and beautifully lived. To understand why Robert Redford inspired such love and reverence, one must look back to where it all began. Born Charles Robert Redford, Jr. on August 18, 1936, in Santa Monica, California, he came from a family with deep Irish, Scottish, and English roots. His childhood was shaped by both hardship and resilience. He lost his mother at a young age, battled polio as a boy, and struggled in school. Yet, he discovered passions in art, sports, and nature, the last of which would guide his entire life. After being expelled from the University of Colorado due to drinking, he set off across Europe. San fille, s'adentudi d'ortubitu, painting and searching for direction, before finally discovering his true calling in acting. Redford's rise in Hollywood was steady and determined. After training in New York, he landed early television roles and eventually made his Broadway breakthrough in Neil Simon's Barefoot in the Park. His career skyrocketed with films like Butch Cassidy and The Sundance Kid and The Sting, where his charm and talent won over audiences worldwide. But Redford was never content with being just a movie star. He sought depth in his work, fighting for artistic freedom and eventually stepping behind the camera. His directorial debut, Ordinary People, won the Academy Award for Best Picture and Best Director, proving that his vision went far beyond acting. He would go on to make classics such as A River Runs Through It and The Horse Whisperer, all while carefully cultivating a legacy that valued storytelling over celebrity. Beyond Hollywood, Redford built something even greater, the Sundance Institute and Film Festival. His vision created a haven for independent filmmakers, offering opportunities for new voices like Quentin Tarantino, Steven Soderbergh, and Ryan Coogler to rise. In doing so, he reshaped American cinema, ensuring that bold, unconventional stories had a stage. His passion for the environment also defined him, as he tirelessly advocated for the preservation of nature, a cause rooted in those childhood days spent exploring the outdoors. On September 16, 2025, Robert Redford passed away peacefully in his sleep at his home in Sundance, Utah, at the age of 89. The world mourned his loss, with tributes pouring in from co-stars like Jane Fonda and Meryl Streep to filmmakers and even political leaders. But perhaps the most powerful tribute came from Sibylle, whose words reminded everyone that Robert Redford was not only a legend of the screen, but a man of compassion, humility, and authenticity. His story does not end with his passing. It continues in the films he made, the festival he built, the causes he fought for, and in the hearts of all who loved him. Robert Redford's life was proof that greatness is not measured in fame or fortune, but in kindness, courage, and the ability to inspire. Through Sibylle's farewell, his legacy felt alive in the room, binding everyone together in gratitude for a life so deeply lived.